जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम. The topic for today's lecture is inventory valuation methods. Inventory is one of the important assets that is shown in the balance sheet and that is shown in the heading of current assets in the balance sheet. So inventory is also, we can say, the liquid or the current asset of a company. How to value, how to evaluate this inventory? There are different methods for the evaluation of inventory. The popular three methods are weighted average cost method, second is first in, first out method, third is last in, first out. That is also called LIFO. So weighted average cost method, FIFO and LIFO. These are two important methods for the valuation of inventory. So in this today's practice question, we will demonstrate, we will solve one question that is relevant to average cost method and first in first out method. So we'll go to the slide that is having a question. So you can see the question on the screen. This question is that on January 15, 2019, John sold 1,000 bikes to David's warehouse, and immediately prior to this sale, John's perpetual inventory records for bikes included the following cost layers. December 12, 2018, John's company has purchased 600 units bikes at a price of $29, and the total price cost was $17,400. Similarly, on January 9, 2019, they purchased 900 bikes and the per unit cost is $32. The total cost is $28,800. But the total cost for all purchases is $46,200 and the total quantity they have purchased is 1500 bikes. 600 bikes plus 1500 bikes, total purchase is of 1500 bikes. And the total cost for these purchases is 46,200. और 15 जनवरी को John is selling 1000 bikes. So warehouse में they have an inventory of almost 1500 bikes and they have sold 1000 bikes out of those 1500. Now in part A we need to make a journal entry, debit credit entry on the date of sale. So 15 January को क्या journal entry होगी, which account would be debited and which account would be credited. This is we need to solve in part A and we need to solve it by two methods. So part A के भी आगे दो sub parts हैं. There are two sub parts for part A. One we have to solve with average cost method and second we have to solve with FIFO method, first in first out. Or second B part में we need to show subsidiary ledger records. So first we'll go to solve part A of this question. Journal entry, which account debit and which account credit. As you can see, we need to make an entry for the sale of bikes. हम यहाँ पे कुछ सेल कर रहे हैं, तो whenever there is a sale, it means company is going inventory is going out. Inventory का outflow है, inventory कम हो रही है. It means inventory is going to decrease in the accounts of John. So when an inventory is decreasing, like asset is decreasing, so we need to credit the inventory. As you can see on the screen, inventory is credit and the debit is cost of goods sold, CGS. First we write a date, that is January 15, 2009, that is the date of sale. CGS, cost of goods sold, जिसकी nature एक expense account की है, तो cost of goods sold would be debited and inventory का account would be credited. But how we get this amount 30,800? Remember, if they have total 1500 bikes in the warehouse, तो 1500 मतलब total cost को divide कर देंगे हम total units से. The total cost should be divided by total units. The total cost is 46,200 as it is shown in the question. The total cost 46,200 would be divided by 1500, that is total number of units. So in this way, we will get a per unit average cost, that is $30.80. I again repeat how we get this $30.80. 46,200 divided by 1500 units. 46,000 divided by 1500, we get $30.80. This is per unit average cost. This is 46,000 divided by 1500, so we get 30.80 per unit cost. 30.80 multiplied by 1000, because we are selling 1000 bikes, so 1000 into 30.80, that is 30,800. So this is the solution of part A, and this is the average cost method. By average cost method, CGS debit by 30,800 and inventory credit by 30,800. So you have to write the date, you have to write these two accounts, debit and credit, and you also have to write this explanation, this narration of a transaction, how we get this 30,800. So this explanation and narration is also required whenever you are recording some journal entry. Now we'll move to the other method, that is FIFO, फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट. उसमें हम किस तरह से जर्नल एंट्री करेंगे, कितने अमाउंट को डेबिट करेंगे, कितने अमाउंट को क्रेडिट करेंगे. रिमेंबर, इन एवरेज कॉस्ट मेथड और FIFO method, the title of the account would be same. Like you can see on the slide, debit is cost of goods sold and inventory is credit. The titles are same. Inventory is going out, inventory is decreasing, inventory is one of the asset. So whenever there is a decrease in asset or a decrease in inventory, we need to credit inventory. So cost of goods sold debit and inventory credit. Inventory is decreasing. But here this is 30,200. How we get this 30,200? Remember, they have a total inventory of 1500, लेकिन they are selling 1000 bikes. उस 1000 bikes में से the first one was 600 units. They have purchased 600 units previously. First one, first in 600 units. When they purchased 600 units, that at that time the cost price was $29. Okay, 600 units, $29 वाले सेल हुए हैं. Secondly, 1000 minus 600, that is 400. The 400 units जो सेल हुए हैं, that the cost price for that 400 units is $32 per unit. 600 multiplied by 29 plus 400 multiplied by 32, and when you will add the total amounts, the answer would be 30,200. It means that on January 15, 2009, cost of goods sold debit by 30,200, inventory credit by 30,200. We will reduce our inventory stock by 30,200 if we are following first in first out FIFO method for inventory valuation. So this is the solution for part A, that journal entry, debit, credit. These are the title of accounts, CGS, inventory. This is the amount 30,200, and how we get this 30,200. This is given in the explanation, the narration of the journal entry. 600 units, $29 wale, 400 units, $32 wale. Because we have purchased previously before time 600, and later on we purchased 400,000 units. उसमें से 400 we are selling $32 की price वाले. The total is 30,200. So here we have completed the part A of this question. Now we'll move to the part B of this question, जिसमें हमने we need to make a subsidiary ledger records. पूरा record हम show करेंगे, as you can see on the screen. Inventory subsidiary ledger records, part B. First we will try to solve with average cost method. So remember, you need to memorize, you need to remember that this table and also the columns, and questions in exams you have to solve answers by making this kind of table. So the main three columns are purchased, sold and balance. Three main columns: purchased, sold and balance. First column is about date and three sub columns purchased के नीचे three sub columns होंगे जो कि same होंगे sold में भी और balance में भी. First is units, unit cost, and the total, you can say total cost in dollars. Units, unit cost, total, units, unit cost, and the total in dollars. December 12, 2018 में this company, John company, has purchased 600 units, 600 bikes at a cost price of $29. Okay, and the cost price was 70,400. Then again on 9th January 2019, they have purchased 900 bikes. उसमें से 30 जिसकी the price for these 900 units is $32 per unit. Total is 28,800. When they are selling 15th January को, when the company is selling 1000 units, the question is when they are selling 1000 units, so what should be the unit cost of these sold items? They have two different kind of prices in their inventory, $29 and $32. But जब वो सेल कर रहे हैं तो क्या यूनिट कॉस्ट लगाएंगे? This is a question. So here we are following average cost method. तो इसलिए we will divide total cost. Total cost question में given थी 46,200. 46,200 divided by 1500 units. Total cost divided by total units, that is $30.80. That is average unit cost, average cost per unit. एक बाइक की जो कॉस्ट हमें पड़ रही है वो है $30.80. This is the average. When we are selling 1000 bikes, we will multiply it by $30.80. The total cost of goods sold, क्योंकि sold हुए 1000 तो इसकी कॉस्ट होगी $30,800. It means the cost price of goods sold is $30,800. Remember, in warehouse they have a total inventory of 1500. Out of this 1500, now 1000 units have been sold out. It means the remaining balance is 500. Balance में last में जो हमारे पास बचेगा, that is 500 units, और प्राइस वही एवरेज प्राइस जो हमने कैलकुलेट की थी $30.80. तो 500 multiplied by 30.80, that is 15,400. So we can say, if we are following average cost method, the inventory that is, you can say, left behind in the warehouse is of price 15,400. The cost is 15,400 if we are following average cost method. So this is the complete demonstration, complete subsidiary ledger with the reference to average cost method. If the question is about average cost method and you are required to make such kind of ledger records, so you need to make this table where date, purchased, sold, and balance, and then three sub columns. And you can also see in 9th January को भी we have also recorded the balance. 1500 total units हो गए थे. The average is 30.80 and total is 46,200. The 46,200 is also given in the question. At 30.80, how we got this? This is the explanation of how we got this $30.80 average unit cost. 46,200 total cost divided by 1500 units. This is $30.80 average unit cost. So this is the first part of part B. This is the average cost method. Now we will try to solve the subsidiary ledger by following FIFO method. First in, first out. Now you can see on screen, first in, first out method. The first column is date, second is the purchased, sold, and balance. Again, three sub columns of under purchased, sold, and balance. Units, unit cost, and total amount in dollars. So 12 December ko this John company has purchased 600 units at a cost of $29, and the total is 17,400. 600 multiply by 29 is 17,400. On 9 January, they have 900 units, and the unit cost is $32, and the total is 28,800. But now the question is, they have sold on 15th January 1,000 units. In question, this company has sold out 1,000 units on 15th of January. 1,000 में से what would be the cost price of this 1,000 units? As we are following first in first out, तो उस 1,000 में से we will need to sell first of all this 600 units that was purchased on 12 December 2018, that was previously bought out. तो previously purchase किए थे 600 units, पहले वो sold out होंगे $629 वाले, फिर बाकी जो 400 units हैं out of 1,000, उनकी जो cost price है वो है $32. So 400 multiplied by 32 and 600 multiplied by 29. The total of these 1,000 units, 29 and 32, the total would be 30,200. How we get this 30,200? Remember, 600 multiplied by 29 plus 400 multiplied by 32. तो इन दोनों मल्टीप्लिकेशंस का जो आंसर आएगा उसको जब हम ऐड करेंगे, प्लस करेंगे, we will get 30,200. It means this is the cost of goods sold. जो चीजें बेची हैं हमने, सेल की हैं, उसकी कॉस्ट क्या है if we are following first in first out method FIFO. So by following FIFO method, the cost is 30,200. इसी अमाउंट से we have made a journal entry, cost of goods sold debit and inventory credit. अब 1,000 सेल हो गए, टोटल हमारे पास थे 1500, तो 1500 में से जब 1000 सेल हो गए तो बाकी हमारे पास कितने बचे? बाकी जो हमारे पास बचे वो 500 यूनिट्स. टोटल इज 500 यूनिट्स. बाकी जो हमारे पास the units we have in our warehouse, the left behind units 500. These units are those which we have bought recently, like this. Out of this $932 per unit, the 500 multiplied by 32, that is 16,000. We can say that the inventory left behind in our warehouse, उसकी जो valuation है, उसकी जो cost value है for the inventory left behind inventory is $16,000. 500 units पड़े हैं store में, and the per unit cost is $32. So the 32 multiplied by 500 is 16,000 units, $16,000. अच्छा, 15 जनवरी से पहले, 15 जनवरी से पहले हमारे पास जो बैलेंस था that is 46,200. ये हमारे पास 600 ये वाले यूनिट्स पड़े थे, 900 हमने बाद में परचेज किए, तो टोटल 1500 यूनिट्स थे हमारे पास बिफोर दिस सेल ऑफ 15 जनवरी, और प्रीवियसली हमारा जो बैलेंस था that was 46,200, and after the sale of 15th January, the 1,000 bikes that are sold on 15th of January, उसके बाद जो बैलेंस बचेगा इन्वेंट्री का वेयर हाउस में, that is of $16,000. सो अगर हम FIFO मेथड को फॉलो कर रहे हैं तो इन्वेंट्री जो वेयर हाउस बचेगी that is $16,000. So in this way we have completed this subsidiary ledger record by following average cost method and the FIFO method, first in first out method. These are two popular methods that are being used by different companies for the valuation of their inventory. Thank you.